Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to Improve Your Python. This is the first in many that I'm going to be doing and it gives me the opportunity to just get my teaching out there. So hopefully we will not get the lag today. I do have a backup plan if not. So yeah, I'm just checking. Yeah, I can hear myself. Just a quick note as well, there is a slight lag between when I speak and when it's broadcast to you. I think it's about 5 to 10 seconds. So if there is a little bit of a delay, then just let me know if I'm going too fast or anything like that. So yeah, hopefully. Do let me know though if there is a lag. And like I said, I've got a backup plan for next week if this fails. I've been checking my internet connection and it seems to be enough to do the stream today, so hopefully it'll be okay. So today we're going to start Improve Your Python. If you have not done any Python before, you are going to struggle with this. It does need some basic Python knowledge, but not much. So as long as you've done variables, print, input, for loops, while loops, if and else, and one-dimensional arrays, then you should be fine. So just very, very basic knowledge is needed for this. But if you're a complete beginner, then this is not for you. Okay, so you need to have a Python workspace somehow. It doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to use the Raspberry Pi editor, which is, if I put it here, this one here, transition, there we go. So I'm using the Raspberry Pi editor. It doesn't matter which one you use, just have access to some Python so that you can code along. And I will be asking you questions along the way if you can. So today is going to be all about print. So we're going to start with basics, but print is something that you might think, oh, you know, I know how to print to the screen. What are we doing with print? We're just printing to the screen so that we can see stuff. You can actually get it to print to files as well, but ultimately, print does have a lot more to it than you might think. So that's what we're going to look at today. And I'm just going to open up my notes. For some reason, they are not opening in the correct one. I had them open and now it's open with, there we go, pages, there we go. Yeah, so obviously, you know, you have done print and it's easy to use. It's great because, you know, usually your first thing for programming is print hello world. And yeah, you think, great, I can print to the screen and it prints whatever you put into there. But there are some more advanced things that you can do with print, which can make your code look much more professional and look like you know a lot more than, you know, not that you do, but it helps improve your code and makes you look like a more professional programmer. And that's what we're going to look at today. And some of this you might already know. So obviously, not all of you will learn absolutely everything, but hopefully you'll learn enough to help improve your Python. So let's have a look at our first one, and this is actually called f-strings. So I've just put some comments here. It's called f-strings with a dash. And with f-strings, what we're doing is we're using kind of like a placeholder to print our variables out. So what do I mean by that? I'll show you. Let's write some code. So I'm going to write just a few lines of code and code along with me. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. So I'm just going to do name equals, and I'll just put Alice, very common one for programming learning. So that's a string variable, and my next one, I'm going to put age equals 15. So what we could normally do is we could just do print, you know, Alice, Alice is, and then we could put a comma and then name, sorry, let me try this again. My name is, and then we put name, I am, and then we put age, so 15. Now there's nothing wrong with that, But there's a much neater way that we can do this. So I'm just going to pause there for a moment and let you do this. Add the code. So just pausing, it's not a delay, hopefully. It's just letting you catch up. So this is the sort of the way that I teach normally, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's a nice, neater way that you can do this using F strings. So I'm going to show you the alternative, and the alternative is like this. We do print, but then we put the lowercase f, we put some text, so we can put my name is, and you can see actually the F there, it's turned red. Yeah, I'll zoom in a bit for you. It's turned red, so no space after that, so don't put a space there. Always make sure that it's right next to the quotes. And then all we do is we put in curly brackets the variable that we want to print. We don't have to close the quotes, we can just carry on. And I am, and then we can put another variable in curly brackets, age, years, or I'll just put age like that, and then we close our quotes. Okay, so the difference is, hang on, am I missing quotes? Yeah, sorry, get rid of that one there. So F, my name is, and I am, and you can see there's a few subtle differences here. So what that F is telling Python, it's saying, I've got a string here, and in the curly brackets, I want you to go and find the value of those variables, i.e. name and age, and put them in when I want to print it. So it gets rid of all these commas, open and closing brackets, and we can just have one long string. So you can see also that the text is red, the F is red, that's important if you're going to get a syntax error, but the curly brackets bit is black. So it's doing, a number of different things for Python, but if I run that, you can see it's put, my name is Alice and I'm 15. And it's just a much more professional way of writing your print statements. Now, this is not something that is going to get tested in an exam. In A-level, GCSE, it doesn't matter, but it is a much neater, nicer way to do a print. So just try that out. And there's a few other things that we can add to this, but this is the basics of it. And once you've done it a few times, it's very easy. Obviously, with everything in Python, it is quite hard to remember lots of things. So the main thing is to keep your code. So whenever you're turning up for this, keep your code and look it up. And, I forget things all the time. When I worked as a professional programmer, I was looking things up all the time. It's absolutely okay to look things up. You can always have a short list of things that you use frequently. And actually, after time, you'll start to remember it. Now, there's a few more things that we can do with this, but I'm going to get you to try a little task. So, but you can see actually, this is easier to sort of modify and change because you've only got one long string. And instead of having, have I missed a comma? It's easy to miss a comma when you're doing the old version. Then with the new version, to worry quite about this. So let's try another example of this then, but I'm going to add in something as well. So I'll get you to do some of this. So we've got a new set of variables, got width and we've got height, and just set them to 10 and 5. And what I want you to do is I want you to use F string printing. So task, use F string printing to print the width and the height. And then I'm going to show you something quite neat afterwards as well. So this is going to add in something, sort of clever things that you can do with this as well. But first of all, just try an F string on your own. Add some text as you see fit. So add text as you see fit to explain what is being printed. Okay, so just a nice simple one here for your task. Let's write that. So I'm just going to do print lowercase f, and then I'm going to put in the width is width, the height is height. So nice simple print statement there with the width is 10, the height is 5. So nothing, overly complicated. Now, one of the clever things that you can do with fprint though is you can get calculations in this. So say for example, I wanted to have the area of this file, so it's the width and the height. I want to get the area of this. Well, I can actually do a calculation within those curly brackets. So I'll do it on a separate line. So I'm going to say the area is, and then in my curly brackets, I'm going to put width, asterisk, height. So remember, asterisk is times. And that will print out the height, the area, I can't get my words out today. And then also what we could do is we could double the width, for example. So we can do double the width and then just do width asterisk 2. So really clever way of doing this. You can still do this without the curly brackets in the old style, but again, it's going to look more clunky. This is the better way to do it. Oh, I've got a missing bracket there. There we go. There you go. So just add those in. Remember, you can use all this to store and keep as a reminder of how to do it. So you can do all sorts of stuff in those curly brackets. You can do, if you've got an array, you can access elements of an array. You can even call functions in it, but I don't want to get too complicated. I just want to give you the fundamentals for now, and then we can, you can always improve on that if you want to. So that is F printing, or F strings, sorry, F printing, F strings, it's kind of one and the same name. Yeah, good. So the next thing we're going to look at for print is something called end or end parameter. Now this is a really clever way of printing things. I'm just going to move all that code down and we're going to look at, it's called the end parameter. And this is really helpful where you know, if you think about print, when you use print, every time you use it, it prints a new line. So we use print and we say, you know, hello, and then we do print world. It's always going to put those on a separate line. Now, obviously, we could put them on one line originally, but this is just to prove a point. Sometimes you want to print, but you want it on the same line because you might have hello and then 100 lines of code here, and then you want to print world on the same line, even though it's gone away and done a whole load of stuff. So what we can do is we can use end, and that will say, actually, I haven't finished with this print line yet. Hold off for now, and I want you to print what comes next on the same line. So I'll show you if you're a bit confused. Don't worry, it's best by demonstration. So I've got my hello, and then I've got my world there. But instead of just having hello here, I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to put end equals and then blank. And what this does is it says to Python, don't print this out just yet because I've got some other things that are going to go on this print line, but they're later on in the code. So it effectively says, don't print yet, or I haven't finished printing yet. I haven't finished printing this line yet. The next print will be appended onto this print. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to, well, if I print, I've got print end equals that, and then we print world. And actually, I'm just going to put a space there. You can put a space, you can have it blank. I'm just going to put a space. So originally this would, if I didn't have the end, it would just print hello and then world underneath. But this time it will run it on the same line. So it basically says and appends it. So it's a nice, clever way of printing and formatting your output. Okay, I'm not glitching again, hopefully. I'm just pausing to let you get that. All right, so that's really helpful. So let's just practice that a little bit more because there is a few other, sort of examples we could do. So we could, for example, put print and then loading. And then we put end equals, open close brackets, but with dot, dot, dot. So you can put things in that end. And then I can put some code here. So I could do, I'm just going to import. I'll do it up the top here. Import time. And then I'm going to do time.sleep. I don't know, 5 seconds, something like that. And this is mimicking some other code. And then I'm going to print done. So the output will be it waits and then it prints it. So just know that you can put things in between those dots. So that's quite handy. But you'll notice though that it doesn't print the entire line until you tell it to stop. So you can actually, if you wanted to here, you could put another end equals and get it to wait even further. So you can use it more than once. And in fact, the next example I'll show you where we'll use it more than once. I'm just going to change my sleep to 2 seconds, otherwise it's a bit of a long wait. So another example with a for loop. So this is really handy, especially as if you're using arrays. So we just do for I in range 5. We're going to print I, but we're not going to print it all yet. We're going to print it all on the same line, and we just have a blank separator like this. And then once we've done that, once we've finished, that's it basically. We could put another print at the bottom, but I'm not going to. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, no, I will put it on actually, because otherwise I'll just put a blank line here. There we go. Otherwise there we go. So that's what we've just printed out there, is put it on the same line, which if you've got, you know, an array with 20, 30 items on it, you don't want it sort of streaming down the output line after line after line. It just puts it all on one line. So that's a nice clean way of using end. Okay, so that's the end parameter, and we've done f strings. So already we've massively improved how we can print things out. Nice ways to do things. So another thing that we can use is the sep parameter. So this is another thing that's called the sep parameter or separator. And it's basically controlling separators. Now, some of the ways that so this is really handy for things like dates. And all I'm talking about is if you've got a lot of data that you're printing, you want a separator like a comma or a forward slash to separate those items. So I'll just show you a few examples. Let's start off with just a basic print statement with 3 items. So we've got apple, comma, banana, and then we've got orange, so some nice fruit going on there. New year, new fruit. So I run that and we've got apple, banana, orange. That's fine, but we might want to have a separator. So what we can add into our print statement is to say, actually, no, don't want to have to put commas in. I want you, or just there's blank statements here. You can choose your separator. All we do is at the end, we put another comma and we put sep equals, and in this case, we can just say, I don't know, a comma, for example, and then a space. And that will add in a comma every time it's got a new item. So it's added, you can see it's added in a comma each time automatically for us. So you can choose what your separator is. So we can do the same thing. I'll just let you add that in without going too fast. And then, yeah, we could have another one. So I'm just going to copy that line and just show you can do it with other separators like, and it's entirely up to you what character you use. You could just have it blank, but you could have it as a /. Now, so, you know, it doesn't really mean much for this, but it will add in a / for you. Or you could have it as, I don't know, just trying to think of something. I'm just going to literally make it up, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Okay. So literally any character you can put in there, or characters as your separator. Now, normally we would probably use a comma. You know, if it's a CSV file, comma separated file. If you're writing stuff to files and you want to try and, you know, do stuff with that, you could, or print stuff out. It's up to you. But sep is a really good one to use. You could use /. A great thing for this one is actually dates. So if we've got a date, for example, you would want to use / normally. So we could say print 2026 01. What's the date today? Is it the 8th? Yeah, it's the 8th. 08. And then I'll do it 01. 08. And then we just do comma sep equals /. And you can see it's now formatted formatted it with a / there. So obviously these hard-coded values here, these here, that could be a variable. So, you know, it's absolutely fine to, you know, hard-coded the values, but it could be a variable where it's year. In fact, let's do that. Let's just do that. Let's put year equals 2026. I'm going to do it as a string. Dates are better really as a string if you can, especially when you're printing them. It's easier. Month equals 01, and then day equals 08, and then we just do print year, month, day, sep equals /. There you go. You can even use a new line as well, actually. So, you know how I said you can do anything here. You could put a new line in as well. So just very quickly, I'll add that in. It's /n. We've done /n in my live lessons. But yeah, that's quite a handy thing to do as well. Yeah, finish it at 1:45 today. Yeah, so about 10 minutes more. Okay, so sep, really helpful. F string, sep, really helpful. I just want to show you a couple of really helpful things, actually, just going back to, well, there's all sorts of things. You can combine sep with end. So there's all sorts of stuff you can do. I'm just thinking about some other examples. I just want to show you that you can format some numbers as well with F string. I think that'll be a good thing to look at. So you can format large numbers as well. So with your separators, if you want to, but let's try. So I'm just looking through some of my examples of formatting numbers. Yeah, so if you're sort of like displaying, so using f-string to format numbers, we'll do this one. This one's probably going to be the most helpful. So we could have something like price equals 19.5, and we can actually tell it with our fprint, print f price colon and then pound sign, and then we're going to put our variable in price, but we're going to tell it to format to 2 decimal places. So we put dot to f, so we have to put f twice, and then we close the brackets there. And so the output to this, it will put it to 2 decimal places, even though there's only 1 decimal place there. So if I run that, you'll see it's formatted it into dot to 2 decimal places instead of 1. So again, some really handy stuff for float numbers. My cat is trying to get in, just give me a sec. Come on, in. He left earlier and now he's in. Just before the stream started, he was like, I don't want to go out. No. He's a bit spooked because one of my neighbour's cats keeps turning up, and you know what cats are like, they're very territorial. So yeah, a little bit fiddly with that, but it's a really good way to format numbers. So let's try, so we've got that f twice as well, so but Python knows what to do with this. Let's look at another example where we can get it to truncate numbers, i.e. if you've got a long decimal or a number with long decimal places, we can get it to cut it down as well. So pi, let's always like to use pi. Pi is 3.14159265359. So we can print pi out, and we can say print f pi to 3 places, and then it is pi colon and then dot 3f. So we don't have to do anything else if we're truncating. We just put how many decimal places we want, and it will then print it out to that many. Oh, hang on. I've got 2 decimal. 3.141. There we go. Let's try that. Yes, there we go. It has rounded it as well for us. So we can use round. So you might be familiar with round. So you could do pi or print round pi to 3 decimal places. So this does the same thing. It just rounds to 3 decimal places, but you can do it this way as well. So especially if you're using F strings, then that's a really good way to do it. So what I want you to do is print, so task, print pi to 5 decimal places for me. Print pi to 5 decimal places for me. So the date thing could be https pastebin.com. Link. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't let you put links in the chat. Brilliant. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Good. So it is print. Well, actually, I just copy it. Don't be afraid to copy and paste. I didn't used to like to do it when I first started programming. I used to like to write everything out. But as I've got older, I'm programming more. I'm like, I just can't be bothered to type it anymore. Let's see if I've got another example. Oh, a really good way of doing this. This is a really good handy trick. And this is if you've got a large number and you want to split it out. So we could have like population equals 8, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what is that number? Well, if I do that and that, so it's 8.5 million, but it takes a little bit of looking at and counting the zeros. So if we want to print this out, we can do printf. This is really handy, right? Like super handy, this one. We just do population. And then we put a comma, so a colon and then a comma, and then we close that off. Sorry, missed one out, sorry. Population, open the brackets, population, colon, and then a comma. And this will automatically put in the commas where they should be for that number. Oh, I haven't closed my, sorry. Close my brackets. Hang on, what have I done wrong? F, population, colon, population, colon. Oh, I need to put my closed quotes after that one. There we go. So yeah, so you can see here, it's added in the commas in the correct place for making it 8,500,000. So really, really good. So if I sort of increase that and add a whole load of zeros on, then it'll add those in for me as well. So I love that so much. That's one of my most favourite things that Python does. It's really small, really crazy. I'm like, that's so class. It's just the sort of stuff that you need to do when you're printing stuff out. Such small but really helpful things that just keep me really happy. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover today. I have got lots of other examples, but that is ultimately the crux of what I wanted to cover today. So we've got sep, we've got fprint, and we've got the end parameter, all really helpful stuff. Make sure you keep your code for this, and then you can refer back to it. Really helpful stuff when you're programming. So I hope you found that helpful, and I'm going to come with some more helpful tricks and tips next week. Yeah, that's it. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next stream. The next stream will be tonight, and it's a IGCSE computer science revision for Cambridge at 6 to 6:45.